Hey guys, in today's video we're looking at what to do if your top shelf goes missing. I'm recording this in Blender 3.0 utilizing MyConfig Pro version 1.9. So let's get started. There's a few different ways we can fix this. The first thing to try is to just restart Blender. If this is a brand new thing that's come up, you could try restarting your Blender. That could fix it. There's a manual way, which I'll show you first, and then there's also just replacing the config folder files. So let's show you how to fix this manually. This is a scroll area. When you hover over this and scroll, much like any of this stuff is a scroll area, this is designed in that way as well. First thing we can check in our manual fix here is to just hover your mouse cursor over the shelf area and scroll. If I scroll down, you'll see my shelf items come back up. And if you open this up, you'll notice you have several tabs on the left. Typically this is tucked away like this, and all you see is this little arrow. You'll see what tabs are there and which tab is active. So the shelf is actually under scene properties at the very bottom. One thing that can happen is you might be, on your selection box tab, for instance, and when this is all the way pulled up, you might be seeing something like this. So first you want to check, make sure you're on the right tab. So we're on scene, and then we can close this, move this back up to the general area, and then scroll up. And you'll see all of your shelf items are back in place. So in order to save this, it gets saved, I'll show you guys, it gets saved under your main Blender root folder under the config folder as startup.blend. So when I go to File, Defaults, Save Startup File, that's the file that's being saved. That's the startup file. So when you fix it up here, you'll want to do that, but just make sure that you haven't gone through and changed a bunch of other stuff that you don't want changed, for instance. So let's say I was on this constraints property. If I save it now, every time I open up Blender, this constraints tab will be what comes up. Now the final way to get this fixed is if I open up my Blender folder and then I open up the config zip that you downloaded from Gumroad, you can simply copy and paste over the contents of the config folder back into this config folder. And perhaps if you've first installed MyConfig, sometimes this gets forgotten during the installation process, so that could be why your shelf isn't showing up to begin with. So just make sure that this config folder, the contents get copied over to here. And of course this isn't here when you first install Blender. This gets put in by us via the zip file. Lastly, there's one other way that the shelf can go missing. If I right click over the division line here and click join areas and then move the arrow up, you can see if I move the arrow up, I get rid of that whole area. And then if I were to do a horizontal split, like right there, then it's basically just duplicating this perspective view. So in that case, if you're completely missing it, and it looks like this, then you'll want to reinstall the config folder entirely. Alright guys, I hope this helps. If you have any other questions, be sure to visit us on the MyConfig Pro Discord server. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.